So I often talk about something I call work mode, or like just getting stuck in the doing, and you're so caught up in what you're actually trying to get done, you don't actually ask yourself, yeah, should I be doing this? And I also talk about the 80-20 principle. And I came across this short which describes it not necessarily better, or at least I don't want to admit that's better than how I described it, but it gives it to you in a different way. And I think hearing it in a lot of these different ways is very helpful because it can help hammer the point home even harder. So without any further
A lot of the behaviors from school that you were rewarded for, you ultimately get punished for later in life. And a lot of the behaviors at school that you were punished for, you ultimately get rewarded for later in life. And it's this sad change of affairs. I realized my age from like 20 to 29 was just trying to rewrite what I learned from 10 to 19. So it's been a cluster. And one of the behaviors that you were punished for in school that you get rewarded for later in life is asking, why are we doing this? Does this make sense? Is this the most important thing to be working on? If you said that in your...
is this the most important thing that we can be working on? Literally, right here. Like, I talk about this, and I've made so many videos about to-do lists, how to organize your to-do list, how to do stuff with ADHD, how to, like, stay on topic, how to get stuff done, the 80-20 principle. And, yeah, that's stuff, like, you're not taught to question things like this in school. They tell you what to do, and then that's prepping you for when you go out into the workplace. And they're like, your boss is telling you what to do. You don't have to think, is this what I should be doing? Is this how I should use my time? Is there something else? Is this boom, 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 boom? These are the questions that the people actually making the big money ask themselves. But the reason why you can't make that big money is because you're not good enough at asking these questions. If you were good enough at asking these questions, then you could start your own company and actually have it succeed, which is like, I'm learning this stuff by having my own company because I have to keep asking my questions. Is this what I should be working on? Is this the best use of my time? Does this actually need to get done? Like, it's just different ways we're raised, and you raise the middle class to be middle class. You don't raise the middle class to be the wealthiest people and be running society. You kind of like, we still have these, society's still very much these little fractions. I think it's factions, but it's what was the Indian society? It was very. You just have like, you have the lower class, the middle class, the upper class. Like, you have these distinct classes. And listening to the Art of the Deal by Trump, and him talking about, like, it's basically like these court societies still exist today, except they only happen at the very wealthiest, like, among the most wealthy of people. So, like, 48 Laws of Power. I read that book. I'm like, don't really understand where I'd be applying this because I'm an engineer. Like, I don't play these power games at all, or really do that. I'm kind of like, my work speaks for itself, and yeah, why do I need to know how to do this? And then, like, I read Art of the Deal. I'm like, oh my god, like, I just wasn't raised. I just don't grow up around people who play these games necessarily. And if you are questioning, like, these games get played, listen to Art of the Deal. And if you are not consciously aware of the fact that these games get played in 48 Laws of Power is such an important book, then you're just not associating with people high enough up to get to the point where these games are actually what is being played. And the more networking you do, the more you realize that. Anyways, back to the video.
Year 10 algebra class. It didn't go down well. Shut up, Mac. Yeah, exactly. But what did go down well is if you just complied and took the schedule as it came through. And I think you basically have these digital systems compounding on top of these weird, or let's say incorrect behaviors that you learn at school.
It's almost like school doesn't teach you how to succeed. So I'm gonna queue up that other video. Okay, hopefully I can get this going without too much lag, but my internet's not the greatest. So right now he's gonna be talking about, he calls it the busy trap. I kind of call it work mode, but I've only listened to the first minute or two of this, and I really wanted to get this out here on the video for today, and then I was going to rewatch the whole video, all 2 hours of it, and probably make a summary of it tomorrow. So definitely keep an eye out. I'll link that down below. So,
what's the busy trap? The busy trap is the idea that we're busy today because we were busy yesterday, and we'll be busy tomorrow because we're busy today. And it's this never ending busyness that we get busier because we're busy now. Weirdly, I was looking at Google Trends earlier, and if you look at the word busy from 2004, it's like the Apple stock price. It just, each year, we get about 10% more busier. And we're constantly hitting the peak every single year of people searching the word busy.
Right. So busyness is getting busier.
Yes.
Right. And what do you mean when you say that you waste years not being able to waste hours?
So this is a quote from Amos Tversky, who was Daniel Kahneman's writing partner on Thinking Fast and Slow. And when you hear it, it's like, as a writer, you're like, why didn't I write that? That is so good. You waste years by not being able to waste hours. And it's this idea that because we're so busy, we never get round to actually asking the bigger questions. We're constantly on the C plus tasks rather than the A plus tasks. And one of...
yes. That's the 80-20 principle right there, is how to find the A plus tasks. And the 80-20 principle, applying it is a skill. Like, that's what you have to realize. You think, oh, I understand the 80-20 principle. I'm going to be able to do this. Why am I not getting as good results? What's happening? It's a skill. Like, literally, applying the 80-20 principle is a skill you develop by applying it a lot. And that is one of the biggest things I can impress. And also, when you have a bunch of C plus tasks, you might have like 8 C plus tasks. You're going to feel super busy because guess what? Because your new base, the lowest task you have to do is a C plus, and you have 8 of those, they're all going to get raised up to the top. So that's your number one priority, is trying to get all 8 of those done. I made a video about this like 2 or 3 days ago, but if you feel really busy and stressed out, you probably have a bunch of C plus tasks that you're trying to do, or just C tasks you're trying to do. And if you actually sit down and you figure out what that one A task is, and then you just work on that, you don't really need to bother with the C+. Because you're like, I have this A task that's actually going to produce results, and I need to recharge myself both physically, mentally, and emotionally to be able to handle this A task at my A game tomorrow. And that means sleep, workout, eating healthy, meditation, playing. Like, you can't handle your A task at an A level if you aren't doing, like, having fun, going out for walks. Like, you're going to be stuck in a work mode, and that work mode is going to default you down to C tasks. Like, such an important thing to do, and something I'm working on right now.
The memes I posted with this essay, it's 2 guys working extremely hard, like being super busy. And there's one guy in the corner who's like, "You're right, lads. Can I give you a bit of help?" And he goes, "We're too busy." And the guy's carrying a wheel. And these guys are carrying everything, but they're too busy to realize that there's a wheel out there. And I think Tversky's point with that is, by having a few extra hours in your schedule, you may change your annual direction here or there. But if you're constantly compressing everything into some kind of maximum efficiency, you end up wasting years as a result.
Why is the...
I'm just going to leave it there and talk a little bit. If you're trying to constantly optimize your efficiency, you're going to spend your time listening to podcasts like this throughout your whole day. And your whole day is going to just be filled up with podcasts, any free time, podcasts, driving podcasts, audiobooks. And you're like, I'm so busy, man. I got all this stuff I'm trying to do. Nothing's getting done. Where's the progress? You're doing C tasks, man. You're just doing a bunch of C tasks. That's why nothing's changing. You're spreading yourself thin over a bunch of C tasks. Literally, it wasn't until I stopped trying to optimize my day, stopped trying to do more, and started finding time to have fun, finding time to do other things besides work, finding time to sit down and do nothing. Literally, meditate. That's such an important thing to do, and what I'm going to do after this video. You need time to have other thoughts, and if you are cramming your mind with audiobooks and music and all these other things, you're not having other thoughts. And without other thoughts, you can't change the situation you're in, because the situation you're in is going to spark the same thoughts, which are going to lead to the same actions, which are going to lead to the same situation you're in now. You need to change those thoughts. New places. Go to new places. Do new things. Meet new people. Read new books. Have time to then think about all these things without over cramming yourself. And this is how you improve your life. This is how you change the way you think. This is how you finally get out from under like the stress of work. If you always feel like you're behind at work, I told this to my friends, move the damn bar. If this is the bar, and it's kind of mirrored on the screen right now, so it's a little messy with my head. If this is the bar, this is you, and the finish line's over here, and you always feel like you're chasing that bar and it's slowly moving away, you know what you could do? Right there. Now you and the bar are moving together. You're still doing the same amount of work, but now you're actually enjoying the work because you feel like you're on top of your tasks. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But you don't actually need to be stressed out and feel like you're behind to get work done. If your brain's functioning optimally because you're having fun and your dopamine's not like all effed up and you're not constantly chasing dopamine spikes from TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, you can actually do work and be productive without feeling like you're behind on something. But a lot of people procrastinate and a lot of people can't sit down and think. That's why meditating is such a huge part. Your ability to literally sit down and think, sit down and do nothing is critical. And yes, I should not have let it get this late. It's currently 10:12 p.m. at night without meditating. I should have done that first thing in the morning. But I was busy. Yeah, no, I'm not perfect. I'm working on this myself. And that's why I make these videos, to share my journey with it. Because at the end of my life, when they're like, holy crap, how did Jason get there? How did he do all that amazing stuff? He must have been blessed. He must have been built differently. I'm going to point back at these videos right now and be like, this is how I learned it. This is my progress of how I got to where I am. I didn't have any special things. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be born middle class in America. But I had to figure this stuff out, and this is how I did. This is my story. This is how I became the man I am proud to be. And this is how hopefully someone else watching this could be inspired, or yeah, that's what I hope. I hope to inspire and show people how I became the man that I'm proud to be, so that they will then have time to go out and question whether or not they're the man they hope to be, and like start making those changes. Whether or not you learn anything from my videos, that's amazing. But like, I just want to inspire people, keep making the videos daily. And yeah, I get it. Right now my channel is small. It's very small, but it's gonna grow. And 5-6 years down the line of making a video every single day, I'm gonna be really good at this, man. And I was just talking about this in terms of payoffs. Because I have a raspberry bush. I planted 3 years ago. Almost got nothing from last year. 3 years ago, I did a bunch of labor for about a day. And now I go out there every morning and I have tons of fresh raspberries. And I love eating them. It took 3 years for that investment to pay off. And that was only 20 hours of work at most. 3 years for 20 hours of work to pay off. You know how many hours I put into YouTube, man? I put so many hours. Like, if you want to see how this goes, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. But like, this is gonna pay off. I'm getting so much. I can turn the camera on now, and just go like this. I'm gonna get in screen. Just go like that and film a video. I couldn't do that before. I could not do that before. Before I'd like have to think about what I was gonna say in my head, like get all psyched up, do some breathing workout. I can just hold up a camera and film a video. I'm like, damn man, it's 10:30. Gotta get my video out for today. I'm like, okay. What have I been thinking of? What's going through my head right now? I've had this thought a lot. Like yesterday, the story I came up with. I didn't even know that story. I just knew that like I had a story in my life, and I wanted to see if I could make something generally applicable to someone else's that they can then think about. Well, I wonder what Jason means when he talks about the hunter who worked on his own land and then got a payoff next year. And the one detail I forgot to add is the deer came to land because he planted food there. But I want you to think about the reason I didn't tell you what actually happened and why that story is something in my mind right now. Because I want you to think about all the different ways, like, did Jason actually have a deer come to his land that he killed? Maybe. I mean, that'd be illegal off season. Wonder if that's why he didn't tell me what it actually was. What was that girl? Is that girl he was talking about? Did he ask a girl out? She said no. Then he did some work on himself, and then it went out. It went his way. Huh? Maybe that was a friendship that he had, or a business opportunity. I want you to think about this stuff, because when you think about this stuff in the different ways, then you might actually have the thought of, how does this apply to me? That's my goal. My goal is to have you think about this so that you can understand the effects of long-term payoffs and consider how actions you do today are going to pay dividends down the road. If you tried something and you didn't like how it went, and then you came back and you improved yourself, and then the next time that opportunity presents itself to you and you nail it out of the park, think about that. I've had that happen. It's been happening a lot more recently now because I've done a bunch of work in my past. And now I'm seeing dividends. And I'm seeing those dividends. And I'm like, holy crap, let's put more work in right now. So am I going to pay off in 3 years? I listened to Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. And he talks about that. How he was on set and his kid's like, Daddy, how'd you win the Best Actor Oscar? He's like, kiddo, about a year and a half ago, when I was real skinny, I went to work every day, and I told you I was going to go to work. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, well, during those 30 days, I filmed the movie. And a year and a half later, that movie won me Best Actor. If that doesn't show delayed gratification, like, even before that, 5 months before that, he started losing weight to get that role. And Green Lights is an excellent book. And I'm going to do a video talking about the top things I learned from that. But thinking about it, I'm like, we don't have many great examples of delayed gratification. I mean, sports, that's a good one, but you don't always necessarily see it because everyone is getting good with you. Going to the gym is a good one, but all of a sudden, now you're comparing yourself to people at the gym, so you always kind of feel like you're behind. But understanding where you came from in terms of like working with your hands, gardening, like seriously, like the life lessons you could learn from just gardening makes me question why I even read all the books in the first place if I could have gotten these lessons from gardening. Of like, literally, I now understand. It's like, I understood beforehand, but something clicks in your head when you look at all this food you now have, and you're like, huh, all because I did a couple hours of work 3 years ago, and then I just waited. Now I have all this food. Makes you think. It really makes you think. So I'm gonna go meditate, and then tomorrow I'll probably watch the rest of this. Might do that over live, but probably not. Probably just find the best clips I want to talk about in a live, make another YouTube video about that. So I'll link that down below. Probably put up a little bit later. Click right over here right now. I'm gonna put a video up there talking about the 80-20 principle and why you can work your butt off in Bangladesh and make next to nothing, or you can be a Wendy's cook in the U.S. and make a bunch of money. I think I just said that right. Bangladesh versus U.S. Yeah. Location, 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 working with your brain. So check out this video. Peace.